It's Ron Brown with Tech for Senior. Snow is coming. The snowbirds are heading for greener pastures. Where is it warm? Yes, they're heading to Florida, Arizona, and even taking cruises. On every snowbird's mind is, what am I going to do for my cell phone service? I need data. I need to log in and check my email. I need to keep in touch with my bank. So there's roaming charges. You may be in a different country, and the cost can soon add up. So what do? Well, many of you are turning for a local SIM card. In fact, in my many years of teaching courses in Mesa, Arizona, because I was a snowbird, I taught how to purchase local SIM cards. Many people at that time didn't know what a SIM card was or how to change it. So that was a good topic to talk about. And of course, consumer cellular was a good option, along with, as we traveled to different parts of the world, we talked about purchasing local SIM cards in different regions. My daughter lives in Australia, and oh my gosh, the SIM cards with local data in Australia are so cheap. Such a good deal. But things have changed, and you shouldn't be changing the SIM cards in your cell phone. Let me explain the difference that has occurred over the past few years. All right, let's just review what SIM cards are. SIM cards are sold by your cellular provider. They contain the phone number you have and the software on these they look like little chips to communicate and connect you with your cell phone provider. But the most important thing is these little devices, these little chips, have your phone number on, and they're the identifying factor that allows you to connect with that number. Now, they fit in your smartphone, and they're often hard to put in because they're tiny. You need a steady hand and some good eyes to be able to change them. And a lot of times where you purchase your phone at Verizon, they take your phone in the back room and come out and it just works. And that's because they have put this little card in your cell phone for you. There's a little sliding gate in the side of your phone or on the bottom, and you put a little device in there and it pops open this gate and you put the card in there. And once that's closed, then your phone connects with the cell phone service and you're ready to go. Now, fortunately, we're getting rid of these physical SIM cards, and as we move forward, we're getting into electronic SIM cards, so we don't have to mess around with these little devices and try and put them in and take them out. So good news, a lot of the newer phones now are doing eSIMs, which is just software, and you won't have to mess around with these little devices. If you do have to take your SIM cards out and store them because you're putting another one in, don't you lose that SIM card, because then you'll lose your phone number. And that is a big problem, as we're going to talk about. A term that you've heard a lot more over the past 5 years is a thing called two-factor authentication. Now, Bob and I at Tech for Senior have been talking about this for a very long time, but we have a long way to go because it's estimated that less than 20% of people still have two-factor authentication turned on. Well, Google last year finally bit the bullet and said that's it, and we're turning two-factor authentication on for everyone. Doesn't matter who you are, it's turned on. Now, you may not know what two-factor authentication is. You may find that word confusing, but you probably understand the concept of getting a text message with a security code that you have to put in before you log into a website. And that website could be your bank, your health care provider, or a securities exchange. So you understand that concept, and that really, folks, is what we're talking about, is two-factor authentication. So the message is, so you're going to go to log into a website. The website is going to say, okay, we're going to send you a verification code, and we're going to send it to your phone number. This is called an SMS text message, and it is identifying your phone and is sending a text message directly to your phone over the SMS system. So this means that you'll get a code in your text, and you put that into your website, and bingo, you log on. Folks, that's two-factor authentication. That's exactly what we're talking about. Okay, just a minute now. If you've changed your SIM card and you have a different phone number, what's going to happen? Yes, big problem, right? So I'm in my home in Comox, British Columbia. I am in my studio. I am using the same computer I always use, and I'm going to log into my bank. What do? I click log in. I click the little button to log me in, and LastPass autofills, and bingo, I'm in my bank account. I do whatever I want, close out. If I want to come back in 5 minutes, just click the button, it auto logs me in. Real simple, right? Well, it is, but what you don't understand is your bank has put a very sophisticated tracking device in the form of a cookie on your computer. And behind the scenes, it knows if Ron logs in on this computer at this site using LastPass, it's got to be Ron. So they're pretty easy about letting me get into my account on this computer at this site at this time. So Ron now goes to Mesa, Arizona. I head down there, and I'm going to be a snowbird, and I'm in Mesa, Arizona. I go to log in even on my same computer, but I'm not in the same site. So the bank for sure is going to challenge me on this. And guess what? They're going to want to send me a security code to my phone as a text message. Well, if I've just purchased a new SIM card from Consumer Cellular and put it in and my phone number is changed, well, where is that text message going to go? And you're going to have a big problem logging into your secure sites. This has all changed over the past 5 years as more and more companies around the world now all employ some form of two-factor authentication, which is a verification of who you are. So you must understand that the SIM card in your cell phone is an identifying factor for you. It's your personal fingerprint. It is how systems know that you are yourself. And if you change that to a different phone number, then you're changing your identity. So you have to be very careful with this. 10 years ago, it didn't matter. We didn't have two-factor authentication or systems in place. But this is all changed now, and it's all related to that security and your phone number. Okay, so I understand the problem. If you look back many years ago, we all bought cell phones and we started to travel. And oh my gosh, we got caught. We learned all about roaming fees. We learned about long distance fees. And when we came back from our holidays, we said, oh my gosh, what happened? So we then looked at different ways of protecting ourselves to keep our phone rates down when we travel. And this brought us into a new era where we could purchase local SIM cards. And if you traveled in Europe, you would find SIM cards in airports, in vending machines. You can buy them on street vendors as you're walking down the street. Of course, they're common in the United States, and even in Australia, when you got there, SIM cards were extremely cheap, particularly for local data. This was great and was a good way of ensuring that we didn't get caught up in those expensive roaming charges and long distance fees. But we've now moved into a different phase of our life, and things have changed. So cell phone providers have actually changed as well. What you need to do is revisit this with your cell phone provider, because they all have add-on packages. They have different types of services for you, so that if you are, let's say, in Canada and you're going down to Mesa for 4 months, you can get a top-up package that gives you no roaming charges, free, well, I'm not going to say free, but included in the package, calling throughout the United States unlimited, and that's all included in about the same price as you would pay to purchase a SIM card in the United States. It also works if you're in the United States and you're going from the northern states to the southern states, or maybe you're taking a cruise. All your cell phone providers, including Verizon, T-Mobile, AT&T, all have add-on packages you can add to existing plans that will bring your costs way down. This was not the case 5 or 6 years ago. These were very expensive, but now they're very affordable as we move into this new security time in our lives. Now, I know that we all try to get the cheapest cell phone plans we can. Who wants to pay the cell phone companies a large amount of money each month? So we all look for discounted plans and plans that will save us money. But if you are a traveler and you are going to be traveling, oftentimes the cheaper plans that you have, the add-on costs are more expensive. So you may look at more traditional plans that T-Mobile, Verizon, or AT&T have, depending on how much you're going to travel and what the cost of the add-on plans are. For most people, I feel that adding on an add-on plan to your existing phone number is the way to go, and certainly allows you to keep your own phone number. So as snowbirds were racing out the door, we've got a lot on our mind. We're going to have a great holiday and travel someplace warm. Please, before you leave, include in your travel plans a strategy for your cell phone. Please remember that the service that you have provided by your cell phone provider is related to a geographical location. If you go outside that location, travel beyond the scope of their cell phone towers, you may be faced with roaming charges or long distance charges or both. And these can add up to a significant amount of money, even going short distances like to Mexico from southern United States. So you want to be very careful and have a plan in place. I think it is so important that your plan includes keeping your same phone number. So look with your cell phone provider and get an add-on or top-up or whatever they call it so that you can keep your own phone number but not incur roaming or long-distance calls. All these providers have these, and I think it's important that you keep your same phone number, because when you're traveling, you may need to access healthcare records, you may need to access your bank. There are certain services that you may need on the road. And if the communication to you is through a text message with a code, that is going to go to the wrong cell phone and is very difficult to change. So remember that when you're traveling, and include this idea in the strategy for your holiday this winter. Ron Brown with Tech for Senior. If you enjoyed this video, please click the like and subscribe. Have a great day and enjoy your winter vacation. We'll talk to you soon.